Hey Battle Buddies and Healthy Heroes, my name is Susie and I am currently showing you a point of view from my healer character, Alda.
Any warning? Or did they just start?
This is from the August Cinderfel event at Alliance New Hampshire. Let's check it out.
A rift even?
No.
I play my healer as very scholarly. She's a diligent scientist and she is dedicated to helping solve the problems.
Are you okay?
Yep.
So information gathering is one of her top priorities. She's always asking around for whatever people know about whatever threat they're facing.
Crackling or anything strange?
Here we see Justin asking Drew for a visual description. That's an out-of-game question, so you're always allowed to check out-of-game. What do I see? Visual description.
There's another one over here. Watch your back.
Now, Flora, in-game, this elf is asking Tyrion about the blood of the monsters. That's an in-game question.
Because the cup we're trying to fill needs sentient.
We're currently in the midst of this Fae quest to gather drops of blood from over 50 sentient species. So all the PCs are on high alert trying to make sense of that nefarious task.
Oh, you're fine. Another one coming in and he's glowing.
So this is what it looks like to be a weaponless healer, helping to navigate waves of crunchy small monsters trickling into town. He's glowing is something I've always said when I saw a monster carrying packets, the representation of magic spells, as an in-game observation. These days, however, Alliance rules have removed packet color requirements and added a lot of effects other than magic for these packets.
You look like ooze, but also kind of icy?
A little icy.
Do you have, like, blood?
So you can also get information just from NPCs that are cut down. You can make some observations about them.
Have we seen this sort of combination before in a monster?
Yes, with ice oozes.
Has Levemir been partnering with elementals recently?
As you'll see in this video, a barefisted healer's primary job is gathering and disseminating information to allies on the battlefield. Question for my veteran LARPers, what kind of in-game observation do you think is appropriate to make if you see an NPC with packets? I want to be careful not to metagame or cheese anything too much. So I don't know, what do you all think is still appropriate to make as an in-game observation about packets? Comment your thoughts, please. What can I say other than he's glowing if it's not actually magic in his fists? Now here Alda gets a little philosophical with Tyrion.
Are you saying, do you think sentience demands some level of intelligence? Because their ability to target on something, they
I think it's a communicability issue, right?
And while she was in the midst of trying to figure out what sort of blood they needed for this Fae quest, one of the oozes snuck up on her. Even as a scholar, she has a good number of points of armor, so thankfully she was not hurt by that. Watch her positioning. So I'm holding my body sideways because my left hand is on Tyrion's back, and I'm using his shield and his positioning as defense. I've got packets in both hands, so I can either touch cast on a back or throw to an enemy. I move over here to the right because I start hearing some big skills. I think they might need a little bit of support.
I'm going to refit.
So I make sure they're all okay cutting down that big ooze before I go and refit my own armor. Of course, after telling a friend that I'll be sitting here for a second, so I make sure they're watching for me. She notices another one coming in, and her hands go on Vry's back as a backpack. However, they're coming in from both ends of the field. Alda primarily in a crunchy wave like this will stay in the middle of the battlefield and keep eyes on all individual spars to see who needs the most help, what's looking rougher, if anyone needs support. And then based on those types of observations, she'll approach and offer healing or protectives as necessary. So here she sees some attacks seem to land. Marcus sits down. What does he need?
Marcus, are you okay?
My limbs are stunned.
Oh, jeez. I call upon Earth to purify you. You're fine now. Yeah, refit.
All of them?
Yep. Purify covers everything.
Okay, thank you.
I would refit your armor, though.
So that was all
Right.
in-game, but then this
Well, if
You
happens.
he's-
still have a lot of armor. Yeah.
If it didn't get through your armor, you don't take the stun effect.
That is an out-of-game clarification about the
That's okay,
rules.
that's okay.
So
You
she's
come
telling
back
him
for
to
a while.
refit his
So-
armor in-game because she wants to take care of him as a
So
healer,
you
and
didn't
if
have
he
any
was
stuns. Yeah,
stunned,
so I'll take the
then
verify back.
it
So
meant his armor
if
was
you're still living in
gone.
your armor, just refit your armor, and then you'll be protected from the stun.
You can always have little moments of out-of-game clarifications. And then this right here,
As much as metal is uncomfortable to me, I see its benefits for
she starts talking about
stopping the
metal
carriers
armor
that would otherwise incapacitate
as
you.
a dryad, because dryads have this racial sensitivity
Yeah.
to worked metal.
Getting rest on your body, you're done.
And so
Tyrus, are you
I try
here?
to sort of loop it back in-game a little bit about Alda talking about armor in-game, even though we just had that
Azra's not
out-of-game
hurt, are you?
clarification, to sort of seamlessly smooth over that clarification and keep things in-game. Keep that immersion high. Ryan making a comment about Azareth's positioning out in the
Very
woods.
impressive posturing you have, Azareth. Certainly not.
Alda would not fight Azareth.
I hear something behind
And
you,
she
Marcus.
notices Marcus is alone,
Ryan,
so she calls over a friend, heads in that direction.
there's another one coming in here, and he's glowing.
Notices that he's glowing and get myself in a defensible
Thank you, Marcus.
position. The tree and the shield and the friends, especially with Jedi blocking, nice Albert. Not a bad spot to be.
Tyrion behind you.
I call for something else I think I see, but turns out it was just an NPC in a headband.
Oh, it must have been a gust of wind. My apologies.
The in-game cover for that is just, whoops, that's a gust of wind.
Gets breezy here sometimes. You're not hurt, Kyvan? Kyvan, correct?
Yep, you got it.
Good.
She takes a minute to make sure she knows people's names, because that's a really clutch part of battlefield communication. Call
Yeah.
for people by their names, check on people by their names. She's watching this one come in at Riddick. She sees the strike connect. Unless a defensive skill is used on a strike attack, they have to take it. So she knows he's paralyzed. She wastes no time asking questions, goes right up to him and sets him free with the Purify.
Do you need any healing?
I'm fine.
This was a very funny moment. Surveying the whole battlefield, watching as they're coming in, didn't even realize
Another
that
one
Ryan
coming in,
was
Ryan,
sneaking
on the
up.
right.
Look at his silent thumbs up.
Oh.
That's silent communication, so a healer doesn't ruin a rogue or a scout's positioning efforts. Also clutch.
Ryan, you were scouting so well, I did not even realize that's what you were doing.
We like to call this head on a swivel. Looking around all the time.
Could have. It doesn't seem like a pressing threat level, though, just a trickle, so.
That discussion with Riddick is pretty valuable, a resource
more
management
time to
thing. Like,
refit?
do you need to burn a defensive skill like Dodge, or can you take a
think I
healer
see.
skill like Purify? Depends on the urgency of the battle and what you have available in town.
Go get that one.
That's why you have two. With some urgency, young one.
Now here's a fun dynamic. We get to see Riddick instructing Oak. Oak is a newer player. Out of game, Steve's actually his dad, but in game, Riddick is the battlefield leader of the Phalanx team. You want to give the instructions to teach the player how to enjoy the game, how
It's very
to navigate a
different. At least for me,
battlefield.
as a child of autumn, to have a sense of urgency is almost foreign. The modern world demands it, and I think the longer you're awake, the more you realize.
Can definitely keep it in game with a sense of role play about Riddick being the leader of the Phalanx, Alda talking about
no, he is
Dryad
very
culture.
brave already. He's not even seen his second autumn awake, and he's battle ready. Maybe it is his casual sense that allows that.
So we like to check on our newer
Oh.
players in game and out of game as they get into the swing of things.
I protect you with an elemental shield.
Alda saw that Vry's elemental shield had popped, so she runs over and gives him another one without
Are
question.
you stunned? Do you need to refit?
That awareness can allow for more
Okay.
efficient action.
Is your armor breached? Because he's going to stun. Okay.
The more you observe what's going on, the less you need to ask any of those healing arts or protective questions. Now, this ooze sneaks in, and the tree is blocking Alda's vision, so
I'm sorry, Riddick. I didn't see it.
she has to apologize for Riddick because he got hit without warning, despite Alda looking in that direction. Good thing his refit was done, though. More head on a swivel here, keeping centered in the middle of the field. With everything well handled, I take a moment to mark off the spells I've used during this battle because I will lose track if I don't write it down. Oh, these summer leaf reps keep falling off. They are years old and starting to break.
And fall is approaching much sooner than I thought.
So my in-game cover for that, fall is approaching. I literally did put on the autumn-colored leaves the next day. I had to
Possibly.
prune a little.
I heard something come from the woods. Paolo behind you.
Gently letting these folks know when something comes in, they're distracted from talking.
Are you refitting still?
I'm checking in with others to see who else is up and ready. I like to know who is available and know the state that people are in when I'm the battlefield healer, because then I know if someone needs to tag out from the front line for a refit, I'll know who else is up and who else we have. I can call other friends over. Now here, she clearly heard a paralyzing strike. And she runs over because she knows she needs to unstick someone. Heard that land. But because I didn't see, I needed to ask who.
Visual effect process.
And then I needed to ask all of those healing arts questions.
Elemental shield.
Oh, do you want another elemental shield?
I would enjoy it.
I protect you with an elemental shield.
Got it.
Turns out he just needed a protective. She's constantly checking on
You
people.
heard of all?
Oh no,
Healing arts, somebody body, you're down.
nothing.
Constantly double checking on people even.
Forgive my lack of trust. I just know the habits of some adventurers. Sometimes you always got to double check.
She's known gallant heroes in the past who have refused to acknowledge that they need healing in an effort to, I don't know, like not drain the resources of the healers.
Is anyone hurt?
But she firmly believes that the best use of resources is keeping everyone topped off.
I do.
Can I have that?
Yeah.
Always heal and
with
always
elemental
refit as soon as possible, in my opinion.
I think that might be my last one, but
It's worth more than.
Hope to see you out there.